Good morning, everyone. Minister, ladies and gentlemen. I am Councillor David Carr, leader of City of York Council, and I'd like to welcome you all this morning to an event which fires the starting gun for one of the most important economic development projects in the north of England. This council is ambitious for the City of York, but our ambition compels us to walk a very fine line. A balancing act between preserving this unique historic city for the enjoyment of future generations and providing the homes, jobs and economic growth for our people now. Preserving this ancient city doesn't only mean looking after its treasure trove of magnificent buildings, its streets and public spaces. It also means taking care not to destroy the natural environment which surrounds it. So like a precious gem needs a setting, so our jewel of a city needs the wonderful countryside around it to complement it. One needs the other. If one is diminished, both are diminished. And that is why our draft local plan, soon to be submitted for approval to government, prioritises the use of brownfield land to accommodate our new homes and jobs and aims to encroach as little as possible on the surrounding countryside. Now, our supply of brownfield land, whilst enough for our needs, is limited. Unlike most other cities in the north of England, we do not have a surfeit of brownfield sites. And that's because, almost alone of all northern cities, York didn't really have a 19th century on the scale that our northern neighbours did. We don't have the coal mines, or the steelworks, or the textile factories so prevalent in other northern cities, and therefore we don't have the legacy of extensive brownfield sites which have resulted from the contraction of those industries. And that is why York Central, a site of 70 hectares with potential for 1,500 homes, 1 million square feet of employment space, and creating almost 7,000 jobs, is so important to the future of this city. It is set to add 20% to our city's GDP and lift the average wage levels in the city, one of the council's economic priorities. In fact, without overstating the case, I'd say York Central is pivotal to the future of York and the future of the region, and a game changer for the future success of the Northern Powerhouse. This pivotal importance has been recognised by the incredible level of support the project is receiving from the Leeds City region and the York, North Yorkshire and East Riding local enterprise partnerships. In fact, York Central is a priority in the strategic economic plans of both LEPs. York Central's importance has also been recognised by government in granting the project enterprise zone status, a tremendous attractor for inward investment. And let's not forget our public, our residents and businesses. Following an extensive public consultation recently, some 80% of respondents backed our aims and objectives for York Central. And that is why I am so delighted this morning to see the affirmation from all our partners, from Network Rail, from the National Railway Museum, from the Homes and Communities Agency, of their support for this project and their desire to work together with us to make real, substantive progress towards realising the potential of York Central. And I'm especially delighted that the Right Honourable James Wharton, Under-Secretary of State at DCLG, with special responsibility for the Northern Powerhouse, is here to lend his endorsement to this most important of projects for York and the north of England. Thank you very much indeed. I think, Paul, you're next, are you?
I think that's right. Good morning, everybody. I'm Paul Kirkman. I'm the Director of the National Railway Museum. I think I've been asked to say a few words for two reasons, really. One is because York Central is a transformational project for York, but is an absolute game changer for the National Railway Museum. And secondly, also because I'm speaking on behalf of the partnership that's putting this development together. So thinking of the Railway Museum first, this is going to be the thing that brings the National Railway Museum into the 21st century. At the moment we stand in an industrial site, literally the wrong side of the tracks, behind the railway station, not the kind of place where you obviously want to come for a day with your family, and yet we get 750,000 visitors a year. So just think what that museum is going to be able to do when it's in a beautifully designed 21st century new city centre for the great city of York. It's going to be absolutely transformed. So the first thing to get is that York Central is key to the future of the National Railway Museum. And the National Railway Museum is going to be key to making York Central successful. And David pointed out that York didn't have this history of 19th century industrial revolution development like some of the other cities of the north. But one of the things it did have, of course, was the railways. And the brownfield site of York Central is a result of that railway heritage and the railway industry shrinking and needing less land. So what better way, again, to take us into the 21st century while still celebrating the heritage of that site and the heritage of the city than by putting in place a beautiful 21st century railway museum. So York Central is crucial for the Railway Museum is crucial for York Central. And finally, I would say the most impressive part of being part of this project is the way that the partnership has come together between the City of York Council, Network Rail, the Homes and Communities Agency and the National Railway Museum. We've all got interests in this project and we're all working together. I mean, I was here, I only left this building at 6 o'clock last night because we were here putting together the framework within which we're going to take this development together. We've now got in place all the parties needed to make it work and make it happen, and we're really pushing that forward. So I can't say how excited I am about being part of this, and really do think it's going to be a game changer for York, as David has said. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Minister. Now, I've been in York for over 50 years. And that time there have been many important events in our great city, but few what I would call transformational occurrences. Certainly transformational occurrences included the formation and the expansion of our great world-class University of York, the expansion of York St John, and probably also the development of our York Outer Ring Road, although Minister was looking for a bit of extra financial support to get that one eventually finished. Now, the development of York Central is undoubtedly one of those transformational projects. Some years ago, when that outbound plan came to the York England Investment Board, where I was a director, we all realised that York Central had the potential to transform our city. It just needed a catalyst to make that happen. Last summer, our local enterprise partnership team, working in great partnership with the City of York Council and other partners with interest in the site, presented to our LET board a tremendous case for York Central to be the flagship of the regional submission as an enterprise zone. And I sat on that board when that actually happened. We're delighted that the enterprise zone status was granted and will now allow about 50 hectares of brownfield site to be developed with the potential to create over 8,000 jobs and over 1,500 new homes needed in our region. Now, the economic impact will be huge, estimated to increase GVA by over £1 billion, allowing us to create quality jobs for our school leavers and graduates who remain, live and work and will stay hopefully within York and the surrounding region. We at the LEP are looking forward to providing ongoing support for this transformational project with an application of the Local Growth Deal 3 for around £12 million. Minister, it's clear to me that the many partnerships we have within this great city have the ambition, the drive, the passion and the commitment to deliver this scheme. So, Minister, we hope you will relay this message to your colleagues so that the appropriate resources are made available to match our ambition. And if you have any spare funds, we'll always do some help to fast track the Outer Ring Road. Minister, thanks for joining us today and for your kind attention. Over to you.
Thank you very much for that ever so subtle pitch for further support. I'm actually delighted to be here. When I was appointed Minister for the Northern Powerhouse now just over a year ago, one of the things that I found was in my portfolio of policy areas was the Enterprise Zones programme. I know what a difference enterprise zones can make. I know how they can be a catalyst that unlocks real potential for growth. I also know, as I've found throughout my ministerial career, as it has been thus far, that there are far more people who want these things than there is the ability to deliver them. There is always, when it comes to whether it's enterprise zones, whether it's funding, whatever it might be that government is able to do to support and unlock economic activity, there are many, many more bodies, agencies, people who want to bid than there are allocations available. And so it is of no small significance that this bid has been successful, because that, I think, represents the truth that in a competitive process, with areas from right across the country wanting to secure this status, this was one of the areas that was successful. And that is in no small part thanks to the work of the local authority, of the local enterprise partnership, thanks to the cooperation across different bodies, including, of course, the National Railway Museum, which has a very compelling case for how they see this fitting into their future plans. And Paul, it was very interesting to discuss some of your ambitions earlier. It is also in no small part thanks to the work done by, and I'm pleased to see sat here, Julian Sturdy, one of your City of York MPs, who, when he found out that I had responsibility for enterprise zones, wasted no time at all in coming and impressing upon me the importance of those that might affect and benefit the area he represents, the City of York, and indeed the broader economy in the north of England. We were fortunate to secure in the last round of enterprise zones a doubling of the number in the Northern Powerhouse. The Northern Powerhouse as a project is about unlocking the incredible potential that exists right across the economies of the north of England, a potential that has not always been realised to the full extent which it should have been in the past. But if we're going to realise that potential, it is not going to be about people like me sat in offices in Whitehall and Westminster pulling levers and making decisions. It's going to be about recognising where local people can come together who truly understand the local economy, who truly understand the potential that exists there, who sometimes, yes, need that bit of support, but about then enabling them to drive forward that growth. That's what the enterprise zone status is about. It was about asking people through the local enterprise partnerships to work together and come forward with bids, assessing those bids and seeing where the real opportunity lies. We've already heard the opportunity that is represented by the enterprise zone that I'm here to sign almost into existence with the Memorandum of Understanding that we're going to formally sign today. Those 8,000 jobs, that £1 billion of GVA, that 1,500 homes, that incredible expansion plan that the National Railway Museum has. This is a big moment for the City of York. It's a big moment not in sole part by any means because government have decided to do this, but because you have come together to make the case as to why this should be able to happen, as to why this is important, and as to what you need in order to deliver it. I'm delighted, therefore, to be here. I look forward to seeing how this project advances. And I have no doubt, not least from the speeches that we've already heard, that there will be much more work to do and much more lobbying, Julian, for you to do going forward in terms of securing the very best delivery that we can. But this is a very important milestone on something that will indeed, I have no doubt, be transformational for the City of York and for the people who live here, truly securing its part in the Northern Powerhouse as a project to drive forward our regional economies. So thank you very much for all the work that you've done so far. There is much more to do, and I look forward to working with you as we progress it.